Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, Amari's Revenge. The goddess next door is confronted by a Nubian queen out for revenge at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in this inaugural Isis series adventure. Get your copy of Isis, Amari's Revenge in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. A Michigan McDonald's manager wound up losing her life when one of the subordinate workers she had working for her came to the restaurant and stabbed her multiple times.
Now, she's accused of plotting the murder of her manager at a McDonald's in East Point, and now she's being held on a bond set at $25 million.
The 26-year-old East Point woman faced a judge today as the family of the victim, Jennifer Harris, comes to grips with the tragic end to her life. Harris was stabbed to death Thursday morning at the McDonald's at 9 Mile and Schroeder in East Point.
7 News Detroit reporter Ruda Olsenida was inside the courtroom today when the suspect was formally charged with first-degree premeditated murder, and we learned of her violent past.
New details coming out in court on Friday about the gruesome and what prosecutors say was a calculated way to take the life of a mother of 6 and hardworking employee here at McDonald's. The suspect pleading not guilty to a multitude of charges, including first-degree murder.
She stabbed the victim multiple times, up to possibly as many as 15 times, eventually causing her death.
Prosecution laying out the gruesome details of how 39-year-old Jennifer "Jamma" Harris lost her life at her place of work at the East Point McDonald's near 9 Mile and Schroeder Thursday morning. The suspect accused of her murder, 26-year-old East Point resident Afeni Muhammad, appearing in court virtually pleading not guilty. Her attorney arguing that Muhammad has had a difficult past.
She was in an extremely abusive relationship that was not only mental but physical.
Detectives say Thursday morning Muhammad was sent home from work early. Before leaving, she told her manager and the victim that she'll be back.
When Muhammad returned to stab Harris, she entered the back entrance with a hooded mask over her face in an attempt to conceal her identity and attempted to flee the scene after the stabbing, but was stopped by an armed customer.
East Point police tell me in their investigation they also considered the suspect's social media posts where she is seen waving around a knife in one Instagram video and discussing being sent home early by Jennifer Harris in previous incidents.
But to get sent home 2 days in a row, man, and I came in on my off day to make up my time, and she still sends me home early, it's not funny. Somebody will have to do something about that.
Due to the suspect having a record in Virginia for a similar crime involving another knife, the judge set her bond at $25 million cash or surety.
Due to the severity of the charges and the habitual offender status, it makes the defendant a high risk for flight.
If convicted, Muhammad could be spending the rest of her life behind bars. She's due back in court July 23rd for a probable cause conference. Meanwhile, I reached out to McDonald's representatives who tell me that this location where the crime occurred will reopen to the public on Saturday. In East Point, I'm Ruda Olsenida, 7 News Detroit.
All right, thank you so much, Ruda.
Now, in this alleged incident that took place at a McDonald's in East Point, Michigan, 26-year-old Afeni Muhammad got upset when her manager, 39-year-old Jennifer Harris, sent her home. And after she was sent home for a second time, this is where Afeni Muhammad made the threat that she would be back. Now, after driving away from the McDonald's, Afeni Muhammad returned to the McDonald's allegedly wearing a mask, and as she came into the back, she allegedly attacked Jennifer Harris, stabbing her multiple times until a customer at the drive-thru allegedly took his legal firearm and fired a warning shot, and that's what made Afeni Muhammad wind up scrambling away and fleeing the scene, and eventually she wound up getting taken into custody. Now, after being taken into custody, she was arraigned on charges of first-degree murder, carrying a dangerous weapon with unlawful intent, and it was also revealed that this is not only her first offense, she also participated in a similar crime in Virginia. Now, the police in Michigan are seeing the alleged behavior of Afeni Muhammad as an isolated incident, but when I take a critical examination of Afeni Muhammad's alleged behavior, it definitely fits the pattern and profile of women in crisis that I talk about in my book, The Woman Crisis. And it's clear to me that Afeni Muhammad had a serious issue with Jennifer Harris, and those issues might have also been issues as related to not being able to deal with authority and not being able to deal with authority based on race as I see it. Now, Afeni Muhammad basically was looking to me like she's one of these foreign-born blacks, and she had an issue with Jennifer Harris because she was a foundational black American, and as she had this jealousy of Jennifer Harris for being a foundational black American in a position of power over her, this is the thing that I believe led to Afeni Muhammad simmering and boiling in anger, because when it comes to some foreign-born blacks, they have a real issue with having to deal with a foundational black American person having power and authority over them. Now, this is something that I ran into when I was working at AmeriCorps Vista at the Strive Job Readiness Workshop. One of the things we would try to get people job ready who were homeless, ex-offenders, and people who had issues, we would try to teach them how they had to respect authority figures. We taught them how they had to respect authority because it was about you going out here and making money for yourself. However, it seems like Afeni Muhammad didn't get the lessons that we taught at the Strive Job Readiness Workshop, and it was clear to me, based on the video she presented on Instagram, that she was nowhere near job ready.
I got sent home early yesterday. I got sent home early today by the same person. I'm telling you, she's a bully. This isn't funny. She needs to understand that just because she's a mother and got children doesn't mean that she can come in the store, you know, disrespecting people, talking to them like everybody's beneath her. She has no respect. And it isn't funny at all. Like, seriously, man, I got I got to take care of. And she keeps sending me home early. It's not funny. She's playing games. And then all day, throughout the day, she keeps sending her little racial shit. And then throughout the day, she keeps on, like, putting negative energy in the air, talking about people, gossiping about people. It's not funny, man. Gonna have to stop. She's a bully. I'm telling you. She's a bully. She brings a lot of negative energy in there. She always panic when there's a lot going on. And then she try to manipulate that and make it seem like we ain't doing something right. But we are working really hard and doing great. It's just the fact that she panicked. And I caught her a few times making a mistake. And she tried to hurry up and play it off. You know, nobody's perfect. It's God, it happens. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes, like, somebody might get confused. So it gets busy, yeah. But she needs to stop playing like she don't be making mistakes. I be catching her. So all that animosity and that she keep putting in the air and stuff, then trying to tell me, I'm always snapping on people. No, that's false. No, I don't snap on people. I don't go in there doing that. I tell her, no, I make peace. That's what I'm doing. I've been creating peace. So all that negative energy that she's bringing in there and trying to manipulate it, no, that's going to stop. All that negative she's saying about, you know, her personal life, all of that. No, she's bringing all that in there and then playing games saying she want to take her belt off and beat somebody. Y'all act like my kids in here. No, we ain't your kids. Respect us. Stop talking to us like that. That is crazy. I'm telling you. But to get sent home 2 days in a row, man, and I came in on my off day to make up my time, and she still sends me home early, it's not funny. Somebody will have to do something about that. It's not funny. It's not fair. It isn't funny at all. So, you know, she could keep being a bully if she wants to, but that is going to catch up to her. Because it ain't funny at all. It ain't. Then one day she coming in there talking about some, yeah, I broke my door in half and I had to pull my gun out on my kids and this and that. Well, you know, telling us that, like, the f*** you telling us you pulled a gun out on your kids for? You sound like a psychopath. That's what I wanted to tell her. She was talking about some, she blacked out. I'm like, yeah, you must have had blacked out if you pulled the gun out on your kids. Like, you know, like, I'm like, what the f*** you telling me this for? Like, she thinks she's, like, trying to make it seem like that she big dog or some Give a f*** about you telling me about you pulling the gun out on a kid. I don't that doesn't scare me. You know what I mean? That doesn't scare me. If she thought she was trying to intimidate me, that didn't intimidate me at all. I don't give a f*** about her telling me about what the f*** she did. You know, and maybe that's why they always fighting her, to defend themselves. They probably felt like their life was threatened. The f*** out of here with that
Now, it's clear to me from what I saw in that Instagram video that was presented on the news that Afeni Muhammad definitely was not job ready because she didn't know how to submit to a female authority figure in Jennifer Harris, her manager. Because job ready individuals understand that their job is to go to the workplace and go out here and make their bread and go out here and just go through that day, minding your business, getting your work done, and getting that paycheck at the end of the day. However, when it came down to Afeni Muhammad, what happened to her is that she got caught up in her female nature, and as she got caught up in her female nature, she started to get jealous of Jennifer Harris, the single mother of 6. And as she got jealous of Jennifer Harris, this is where she started looking to compete with Jennifer Harris at the McDonald's she was the manager of, and started to believe that because she was possibly, again, one of these foreign-born blacks, she was in a superior position to this foundational black American woman. And as she believed that she was in a superior position because she was a foreign-born woman, she started to look to think that she could challenge the authority of Jennifer Harris. And that's where I believe the start of this whole rivalry began as related to things. I mean, it really reminded me of my ISIS series book, Amari's Revenge, where Isis, who was born a goddess, was dealing with a issue with Amari, who was the new princess of Nubia, who was soon to be the queen of Nubia. And she didn't like the idea of Isis being around her because she saw that she had a higher position than her. And that's what I believe happened here with, again, Afeni Muhammad. She was upset that Jennifer Harris, a black American woman, was in a higher position above her and had power over her. And as she saw this black woman having power over her, she lost her focus as related to working at this McDonald's job. Now, when it comes to a McDonald's job, again, this is just a minimum wage job. It's basically a stepping stone to better work if you know how to work things. And sadly, when it came down to Afeni Muhammad, she didn't know how to work. No, she got caught up in her feelings about this rivalry and wasn't putting her eye on the prize, which is just to go here, work for a couple of months to a year, get enough experience under your belt, and then go find yourself another better paying job at another place. That's what we were taught at the Strive Job Readiness Workshop, where I worked from AmeriCorps Vista from about 2000 to 2001. We were always taught, fast food, if you are a person, if you've got, like this woman has a arrest on your record, you're an ex-offender, you're just going to take this job, get your experience up, get yourself a little bit of bread. However, this woman basically, again, so caught up in her feelings with competing against this black American woman, looking to try to be the authority in that job where she had no authority. This is what led to her winding up in a situation where she was, again, working against herself. And this woman, Jennifer Harris, in an effort to maintain order in her workplace, this mother of 6, what she was looking to do, again, to deal with this toxic individual, was she was trying to have compassion and not terminate her the way I would have terminated her had I found out, okay, you have a problem with authority, you have a problem with following rules. Again, if there was anybody else, they would have terminated this woman. But this woman, again, Jennifer Harris, she had great compassion on this young woman, saw that she already had, again, a record in Virginia, and wanted to try to give her a chance. But this woman didn't appreciate it because she was so caught up in her feelings. And as she was so caught up in her feelings, after being sent home, not once, but twice, being sent home once enough, again, is insubordination. Right there, that's a write-up. But being sent home twice, again, many other managers would have terminated this woman. But sadly, this woman's compassion was not shown any sort of love by this woman who basically hated this woman. Again, her jealousy was so deep of this black woman having a position of power over her that she decided to go, after being sent home, she sat there and sat in a park, parked her vehicle in a park, again, sat there with malice of forethought as I see it, and then made the plan to put on this mask, put on this mask, and then go back to this restaurant after telling this woman she would be back, and then went and participated in a stabbing spree where she basically stabbed this woman multiple times, went out here and stabbed her multiple times, and was going to frequently continue to stab her until a white male customer pulled out his firearm and fired a warning shot. And after firing that warning shot, this is where this woman scrambled out of the restaurant, not only losing her job, but also losing the most important intangible as related to her life, and that was her freedom. I mean, this woman, again, was not critically thinking. Again, you already got a felony on your record, I believe, in another state, and you got another chance to, again, work one of these jobs, and again, you still had your freedom. And instead of thinking about maintaining her freedom as related to this fast food and making money at this fast food job, she went out here looking to go out here and sate her feelings, regarding this whole jealousy and rivalry that she was imagining with this woman. Because when it came down to Jennifer Harris, this mother of 6, I don't think she was thinking about this woman that way at all. No, I don't think she was thinking about this woman at all. No, she was just thinking about trying to get through a day, trying to help out her children. And that's where another issue that Afeni Muhammad had. She was jealous of this woman, again, having her kids on the job. Now, I've seen, again, a lot of single moms bring their kids to the job. And now I didn't get phased, because when I was at AmeriCorps Vista, one of my coworkers, again, she would bring her kids, and one of my managers, she would bring her kids, and again, would not get phased, would even sit down and talk to those kids. And again, not having phased, because what I understood about the world of work, working at the Strive Job Readiness Workshop, is that your focus needs to be on you, and it needs to be on putting you first, and also focused on, again, getting where you want to go. And sadly, because Afeni Muhammad wasn't thinking about where she wanted to go, she's gone from being a free woman who has now become a woman in crisis. And now that woman in crisis is now going to go from, again, having her freedom to work a minimum wage job, to now being on a road to where she's going to be sent to the county jail. And now that she's confessed to the crime, she's definitely going to get life in prison, even though they set a bail of $25 million. She's basically on a road to where she's going to do life in prison, and she's going to go from working for $15 an hour to working for about 10 cents to $1 an hour. And you only get the $1 an hour if you're a trustee, because trustees get the $1 an hour because they get the top jobs. But everybody else goes from, again, making $15 an hour to making 10 cents an hour. And that's what this young woman is going to be making as she's working in the penitentiary. And eventually, because she's going to be desperate because of all the slop that they serve at the penitentiary, she's going to be getting her whole the front side and back side completely getting worked over by Betty, Martha, Big Lou, and Miss Bubbles, as they wind up trading her for Little Debbie snack cakes, ramen noodles, packets of Crystal Light lemonade, packets of Crystal Light tea, off-brand fruit punch, off-brand grape drink, off-brand lemon lime drink, off-brand mango drink, off-brand strawberry kiwi drink, off-brand Oreo cookies, off-brand apple juice, off-brand duplex cookies, off-brand vanilla wafers, off-brand ginger snaps, Hunt's snack pack puddings, Velveeta cheese packets, packets of soy sauce, packets of sriracha sauce, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pies, prison chips, prison pretzels, packets of hot sauce. I mean, they're going to be basically working the front side and the back side all over. And then Miss Bubbles going to come in and again give her a taste of the girl sauce as related to things. And then she's going to understand, basically, you threw away your freedom for all of this humiliation inside of this penitentiary, in between the spades games and the hard labor. Basically, this young woman will basically sit here and again regret doing this because she's gone from being a woman who had a job and again a start at rebuilding her life to her life basically being over at this point. That's the fate that Afeni Muhammad basically is going to suffer inside of that penitentiary. And sadly, a lot of people will sit there and think, oh, this woman is mentally ill. No, this woman is not mentally ill at all. No, this is what happens when you have a child of the corn who comes from a foreign country and has a sense of superiority over black people. And as she has that sense of superiority over black people, she thinks she can assert her authority in a business that's not hers and look to get into a rivalry with that woman. And again, not thinking about things, because whenever women get into these rivalries, again, they don't think critically. All they do is feel. And as they get in their feelings, they look to sate those feelings. And as they look to sate those feelings, what happens to women like this is that they go from being free women to women in crisis, and they wind up in a crisis all their own because they become their own worst enemy. They become their own worst enemy because this foreign-born black woman wanted to get into it with an American black woman instead of staying in her lane and focusing on getting your life right. Because again, in 3 to 6 months, you can get enough experience where you can start applying for other jobs. Yeah, this job, maybe it's not the one that you feel is right for you, but the whole thing is your plan is to try to, again, continue to work another way to get yourself out of that job. That was something I was taught when I was working at Strive. When I was working at Strive, we always talked about, every job that you're going to get is going to be a stepping stone to a better job if you know how to maintain your discipline and maintain your attitude. And again, this young woman, because she couldn't control her attitude, this is some of the things we talked about when I would be at Strive job readiness classes. Again, the trainers would always sit there and say, you got to keep your attitude under control. You got to keep your issues with people under control and understand, again, you only going to be with these people for a couple of months to a year at best. If you know how to work things, you're not going to be there that long. I mean, there's people you may not like. I mean, I remember I was working at Food Emporium, and again, a lot of delivery guys would give me a hard time when I was bagging groceries. They thought, I wasn't moving fast enough. And again, I know how many of these foreign-born blacks, again, feel about foundational black Americans because I had that experience working at the Food Emporium. Working at the Food Emporium, I saw a lot of the Africans. They would say, you're not working fast enough. You're really lazy. Again, they projected a lot of things onto me as a black man, and I understood where that came from the white supremacist mindset that many of these guys wound up having. And again, I tried not to let it get to me on that job, and I tried to hold everything in myself because I understood there were things that I wanted to buy at the time. Like I wanted to go out here and buy PlayStation games like Tomb Raider and games like Madden and games like that because I wanted to have a PlayStation. That was one of the things I was working towards. I mean, I had goals that I wanted to work on. And again, that's what you have to understand when you're at these jobs. You have to have a goal that you want to work on outside of that job. Something that, again, drives you to come to work every day so that you won't get into the BS that people want to get into or focus on other people at the job. You got to have a focus on you and focus on what you want to do. I mean, in every job that I've had, whether it be, again, at Food Emporium or Strive or when I was working at City College or even little jobs that I did for a family member as related to jobs, I was always focused on something I wanted to do outside of the job. And that kept me from getting into all of the workplace drama and all the foolishness that goes on like Afeni Muhammad did. Afeni Muhammad, again, this young lady who's 26 years old. I didn't know what it is because I was working at AmeriCorps Vista at 26. Again, I know what it is to get into it with someone at one of these jobs. And again, them playing games. And the whole thing is you can't let them, again, play you out of your job. You can't let them play you out of your life because they'll be dead, or they will be again continuing to work, and you won't be able to work on anything. And that's what Afeni Muhammad didn't think about as related to this whole situation. And as she didn't think about this as related to this situation, she went from a woman who was basically working on rebuilding her life to a woman who's now on the road to being a woman in crisis in this penitentiary for the rest of her life. Now, if you want to learn how to identify the behavior of a dysfunctional woman like an Afeni Muhammad, you can pick up my book, The Woman Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. And if you want to see a story about how female jealousy can impact women, you can pick up my Isis and Esteem series books, Isis Amari's Revenge and Esteem Horror of the Hyena Woman. All of those books are available on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format, and they're also available on other online booksellers everywhere. And if you want to see me make more videos talking about the woman crisis in this country, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Esteem Horror of the Hyena Woman. Hell's aspiring angel takes on a wicked werewolf in this action-packed all-new Esteem series adventure. Get Esteem Horror of the Hyena Woman in paperback and e-readers today. Now available in paperback. From the author of the critically acclaimed book, The Man Crisis, comes The Woman Crisis. Learn why so many women have become lost in their quest to have it all in The Woman Crisis. Get your copy of The Woman Crisis in paperback at Amazon.com and online booksellers today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.